You can't say that a vegan diet is healthy for you and it isn't the reason why you're not vegan anymore, but also you need to eat animal products to be healthy. Which one is it? After almost a decade, Instagram influencer Loni Jane is no longer vegan, as she details in this post. As I've said many times before on this channel, I understand veganism can be difficult. I understand there are a few people who have health issues that make it very difficult, even in some cases impossible, to maintain a vegan diet healthfully. And I understand you don't have to be fully vegan to make a big difference. Virtually everyone watching this video can cut back on their animal product consumption and make a difference. My issue with ex-veganism is the same as it always is. It's misinformation. Almost every single time one of these influencers announces they're no longer vegan, they bring up a bunch of garbage health advice and vague health issues. Loni Jane's post is no different, which really isn't surprising if you know anything about her. She is very big into health and diet pseudoscience. Her book is exhausting to read, even just to skim through. Food combining, detoxing, activated charcoal, medical medium, and Gerson therapy, and Tony Robbins, sugar causing candida, Wi-Fi causing hormone imbalances. That's a new one for me. And just to be clear, so I don't get pilloried in the comments by people saying she was never really vegan, she was never really vegan by her own admission. She always consumed honey, even when she first started eating a plant-based diet. So just for accuracy's sake. Anyway, let's hear what she has to say. If my baby will stop crying up there. They were sleeping so soundly, and then as soon as I need them to be quiet, as soon as I start recording, poor partner. My body needs fats and protein in this chapter because plants don't have fat or protein. Great start. It isn't hard to get enough fat or protein on a vegan diet, either by eating all whole plant foods or by incorporating some mock meats for protein like I do. It can be a bit more challenging if you are trying to gain a lot of muscle or a lot of strength, especially if you're competing, but it's not impossible, and in any event, I don't think that's Loni's goal. Plus, getting your protein and fat from plant foods is often much healthier, especially when considering fat. Aside from coconut, palm, and cocoa butter, plant foods are very low in saturated fat and high in healthy unsaturated fats. I'm not saying Loni is significantly increasing her risk for cardiovascular disease by including some eggs with her breakfast. It depends on what else she's doing. If she's still eating a largely plant-based diet with minimal refined grains and doesn't have a genetic propensity for atherosclerosis, then the eggs likely aren't making much of a difference. But there's no question that if you feel you need more protein or fat in your diet, foods like tofu and avocado are much healthier choices than eggs and meat. Plant-based foods are very good for protein and very easily absorbed in the body too. When you consume an abundance of these types of foods, you receive nutritional needs including protein. You have endless options to choose from when it comes to creating a balanced diet with the right percentage of protein for your body. Can you guess who said that? Loni Jane in her own book, her book Feel the Lean. Now, to be fair, this was her first book from 2014. In her updated book Bloom that she released in 2019, there's really no mention of protein, but she does still eat and promote a plant-based diet in this new book, and she does have a section on fats and healthy fat sources, all vegan. So clearly she knows that you can get protein and fat on a vegan diet. If she now believes differently, if she thinks that plant protein and fat is somehow inferior, then she should probably let her audience know. She should probably update her book. Or at the very least, stop selling it for $35. Originally $49. What a steal. I will not bound myself to a set of rules written by others. I promise I won't stop after every single sentence, but I have to comment on this. So going by the views expressed in her book, it's clear she's talking about veganism. She very much sees it as a religion, even as a cult. Sure, some vegans behave as though it is, but hopefully we can be mature enough to separate the practitioners from the practice. Veganism is simply a position, a viewpoint, a philosophy. It's a way to minimize harm to the best of our ability. For me and many others, it's not the starting point, but a natural extension from consequentialism. I care about reducing harm generally, so naturally, I care about reducing harm to animals. And I've been an atheist all my life, so it really has nothing to do with religion. Also, going by what I've read from her posts and from her book, she very much reminds me of Raw Alignment. She seems to be someone who likes to change stuff a lot. She's always looking for the next new big health thing, the thing that will detox her chakras, or I don't know. How's it work? She's real big into saunas now, infrared saunas. It's honestly amazing she stayed plant-based, almost vegan, as long as she did. My point is that actually committing to veganism as the viewpoint, as the philosophy, not just the diet, is probably pretty hard for someone like her. It's not surprising she chooses to see veganism in such an unfavorable light. It makes it a lot easier to quit when she inevitably, intuitively feels like it's not working for her. I will not deny my human needs. Animal foods for me right now are truly healing medicinal gifts. Gifts. For someone who sells a book promoting plant foods, this sure is vague. In what way? In what way are they truly healing medicinal gifts? Protein and fat? Again, ridiculous. I'm also not interested in the ex-vegan narrative, and then she goes into how great a plant-based diet is, and she doesn't blame it for incorporating animal products again. Great, but the cynic in me feels like, of course she'd say that. She makes money promoting it. She sells a book promoting a plant-based diet, a recipe book promoting a plant-based diet. Yes, there are lots of caveats about eating backyard eggs and respecting animals before you kill them, but she still wasn't eating those foods when she wrote this, and she promoted plant-based vegan as healthy. She even says in the new book, the 2019 one, that the reason people get sick on the diet is because of processed vegan food. But that doesn't seem to be at all what she was doing. Unless she's only been showing the healthy, colorful stuff, she wasn't eating processed vegan foods. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say that a vegan diet is healthy for you and it isn't the reason why you're not vegan anymore, but also you need to eat animal products to be healthy. Which one is it? Clearly, she believes vegan is not healthy for her anymore. Why? If I were paying $35 for mostly photos and silly bullet points and a shit ton of typos, I would like to know why. This is why you shouldn't sell a diet book based on your own personal anecdote or anyone's anecdotes. Trust me on that. It's often outdated very quickly because the author has done more research or they've simply moved on to the next new thing. Then she mentions health issues she's had since 2019 when she published her book talking about how amazing her health is. Again, don't buy diet books based on anecdotes. Severe anemia, I think is what that's supposed to say, and deficiencies caused by celiac and struggling to absorb iron and B12 from plants and supplements. These are common deficiencies for people who have celiac disease. Again, the cynic in me wonders if she really has it, if she's actually been tested. It's so common for people like this who believe in detoxes and enemas and astrology to trust their intuition over expertise. In the section on hormones, she shares a list of things that she believes balanced her own hormones. Why? Why does she believe this? Evidence? None. But assuming she does have celiac disease and has iron and B12 deficiencies that have actually been diagnosed, iron and B12 supplements exist. I'm assuming that's too unnatural for her, so she chooses eggs instead, which is kind of weird, not really the best option in terms of iron, and definitely not when it comes to B12, given that most of the B12 is in the yolk, which is where the saturated fat is. Vegan or not, I would much rather get B12 from a supplement. Or oysters, which she actually brings up in Bloom as an acceptable animal product. Not only are they rich in iron and B12, but they're far more acceptable from an ethical standpoint too, given that they likely aren't sentient. It's a shame she chooses eggs instead. I have always been open to change and am a very adaptable person. I knew in the back of my mind that there could be a time in my life that I might need animal foods again, and for that exact reason, I knew I could never go down the road of being a vegan animal activist. Which does seem to be true. She's been kind of vague about ethical veganism. She really hasn't promoted it. Again, she seems to think that hunting is fine as long as you respect the animal or something. It seems to be just factory farming that she's against. Anything that's unnatural, right? Which makes me wonder where these eggs were sourced. If we so badly need to survive by eating animals and what they produce, then we should all be more willing to raise our own in our own backyards. Is that what she's doing? Is she getting them from someone else's backyards? For someone who spends so much time talking about sourcing ingredients and making sure they're organic and non-GMO and factory farm free, it's kind of shocking she makes no mention of it here. No mention when it's such a huge announcement to her audience. She's eating eggs again after 8 to 9 years. No mention of where she got them. It's interesting. In my human brain, it never really felt right to argue against all the people I loved in my life about them eating animals. This is right in line with her view of veganism, right? It's just inherently cultish and combative. It's a very childish way to view it, in my opinion. I mean, what she's saying here, she doesn't want to be vegan because some vegans are mean, because some vegans argue with their loved ones. I don't. I've never pressured any family member to go vegan. You can be vegan and not do that. Shocking, I know. Maybe she worries that she won't, be able to love them anymore if she acknowledges veganism as an ethical position instead of some quacky religion. We need to be mature enough to separate the practice from the practitioner. Everyone does some bad things, even the best people among us. We can view eating meat as bad without categorizing people who eat meat as evil psychopaths. I just chose not to eat them for that time period because I felt great and didn't feel the need to eat them at all, until the day I felt differently. Again, so very vague. Now, she does say she's going to give more information. She'll chat about it more as it unfolds for her. It just seems kind of irresponsible to me to have promoted vegan for so long, to have monetized it, to have said explicitly that the reason people stop being vegan is because of processed vegan foods that she didn't eat. And then when she stops being vegan, to offer no details other than I need protein and fat. I never said I was vegan, so don't be mad at me. I don't know. That's how the post comes across to me. I do want to talk about protein some more, of course. Initially, she was big into Doug Graham and Freely. I believe she has a video with Freely and Raw Till 4. She got a whole bunch of media attention years ago for eating a fruit-heavy diet while pregnant. Her protein section from the 2014 book is just amazing. This is what she considers protein sources. Peas? Sure. Oats? Oh, okay. Quinoa? Yeah. Spinach? Okay by calorie, but you're probably not going to eat enough to get meaningful amounts of protein. Brown rice? What? No lentils, no tofu. If this is where she thinks you get protein from, no wonder she feels like she needs more protein. She did start eating more fat once she got pregnant, but it seems like the low protein thing has stuck around. Most of her food posts on Instagram are juices and granola and fruit. There's one with something that looks like tofu, but other than that, does she eat beans at all? She talks briefly about mock meats, which of course are terrible. She'd rather eat animal products. And so that's what she's doing because it's all about health for her, right? She thinks animal products, she thinks eggs are healthier than some isolated soy protein. No mention of the ethical difference between the two. I guess animal lives just aren't as important as good vibes. Good vibes. You have to say it that way, right? Good vibes. Anyway, thank you so much to the person who mentioned this, left a comment. Maybe it was a patron, I don't remember. I actually wasn't familiar with Loni Jane. I missed the whole pregnancy 10 bananas a day thing. So it's been an interesting little rabbit hole, I guess. The Saturn section in particular, I think that's my favorite. Very potent Capricorn, I think is what she says. What is it like to believe in that stuff? I mean, I just, what's that like? I don't know. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff from me. Hit the bell if you want to be notified when I upload a new video. Thank you so much to my patrons at patreon.com/unnaturalvegan. I do upload 2 videos there a month for $5 plus patrons. Just random stuff about me. A lot of pregnancy stuff when I was pregnant. Now some stuff about baby, of course. So yeah, that's it. Thanks again, guys. New video soon. She says she hired a professional editor. If so, she needs to get her money back. It is atrocious. And then she says it's not perfect and that's how she likes it. It's got an edge like her or something. What?